I've never had a dream in a wheelchair. When I dream, I'm not in a chair. In the morning, I wake up from these awesome adventures, skiing, snowboarding, surfing, playing football, and it's like this wall of reality in the morning. And like, okay, here goes the struggle again.
You go from like 1 minute just shredding with your friends to the next moment, like you don't know where you're gonna live, you don't know what you're gonna do for work, you don't know what your life is gonna look like.
I think it was the toughest part of my life ever. Where did the person go before this accident, right? Because you feel like you become all of a sudden like a totally different person.
You're basically a toddler in a freaking 160-pound body. It just feels like you're a worthless piece of flesh. But it gives you enough motivation to want to actually do something, do something about it. Or you just go into a deep depression, which a lot of people do.
But that's why I got a bike. And you're on trail or in nature to some capacity. There's something about that formula really helps me deal with my shit.
Finally feel like you're free again. And it just makes you feel liberated and able.
Being able to have a bike, I guess, that just allows me to express myself the way that I feel my potential kind of matches up to. I feel like I'm a pretty capable person, and obviously being restrained to a chair, sometimes you don't feel so capable.
I can't explain it. I don't know anything else about my life. I don't even know what my life as a wheelchair user is gonna look like, but I want to be mountain biking. And it's been the most important part of my recovery, is like setting, that intention that I'm going to be an adaptive mountain biker and I'm gonna be a para off-road cyclist.
The moment I got back on the bike and just like riding again, and I think that was such a relief because it's such an outlet. And I think that is a really important part of my recovery, but also it helped my brain a lot. It helped my brain like getting used to motion again. It helped my brain and my eyes to train that again and make new neural connections.
Honestly, when I got this bike, it totally changed my life. So instead of being focused on what's been lost, kind of the adaptive mindset, focusing on what can be found, how to adapt.
Being able to access the woods like I haven't been able to before has really helped me through some really hard things the last couple of years.
In that time in the woods, I learned what I was truly capable of mentally and physically, and I experienced emotional healing and balance like I never would have expected I needed or could have. I became aware of how important it was to be able to recreate in nature, and it radically changed my perspective about how I was gonna do life in a wheelchair. Was it gonna be to survive and to make it through this, or was it gonna be an opportunity where I could thrive and share opportunities and experiences of thriving in nature with other people?
Back in the late 90s, I was a road racer, got hit by a drunk driver, ended up on the wrong side of a car, and lost my leg. Fast forward a number of years, I was hand cycling. Bentonville had the Greenway trails, so I was able to start getting out on the hand cycle, and then I got an off-road bike. And in 2018, I ran across Gary Vernon on the trails, and we started working together on making trails accessible for wider bikes.
Nothing better than getting out in the woods just to clear your head and like I always like to talk about is just the mental benefits of getting out in nature, and you get yourself active on a trail. You're getting both mental and physical benefits. So everybody should be able to get access to trails. I mean, that's one thing that Bentonville has shown so many communities around the country and around the world.
They start from scratch and they're really building everything for everyone. For adaptive riders, they're building it for kids, families, the pros, the moms, the dads, the beginners, and that's what's so unique about this area.
It starts with the Greenway and then has more difficult trails as you move away from the pavement. But at the same time, there's the width for larger bikes without taking away the challenge. And that's really the key, because an adaptive rider doesn't want to ride dumbed down trails. We want to ride as hard a stuff as anybody else.
We want to be able to ride all the trails that everybody else is.
And it just kind of, there's no like adaptive level to it. We're riding the same stuff as the able bodies. We're jumping the same jumps as all the friends. Yeah, it's really cool.
I think that we can build trails and features that are exciting for everyone. I like the term universal design, you know, where it's not adaptive, it's just for everyone, it's universal. And that's the cool thing about this town is the people here are just a community of support, and these guys have rallied to help figure this out.
We don't want to scare them. We don't want to put them in danger. And especially when it comes to adaptive riders that are normally needing a support person to go with them, you know, we want them to have an awesome experience. We also want them to push themselves. We want them to feel like they've conquered something.
When I can just like session something, a jump or a jump line or a trail with my friends, you know, and I kind of feel like I'm just one of the guys, you know, that's a really good thing.
And what we're finding out is not only that, but they're moving here because we've somehow hit the mark with having trails so close to city centers and neighborhoods that they can simply ride out their doorstep.
I was suffering. It was the first time in my life I realized that I have to be moving on a bike. And if I had a choice, it was gonna be road or mountain, I'm gonna be in the dirt. And then I went to Bentonville. Had a long weekend riding Kohler, riding up in Bella Vista, riding Slaughter Pen, cruising through town, seeing this beautiful place where everybody was on their bikes and everybody was sharing the opportunity and everybody's celebrating nature, and something happened inside of me. So I told Cheryl, hey, you won't believe this Bentonville place. You know, they've got something different going on. I really think that we could have a really healthy experience living there. And she said immediately, when are we moving? And 3 months later, we found a house and we moved.